Can you try to describe the difference between multiprocessing and multithreading?
Okay, so multiprocessing is basically a multiple process working on some operation to achieve the result. But multithreading is basically every process have n numbers of thread, so it actually takes a less number of memories, and having its own area space within that particular segment. So basically that's why actually Java was initially introduced. Like it allows, like for example, before that we have also used the CGI, but after Java had been introduced, so they actually one process can have n numbers of thread, and then n number of thread has the capability to do the same task which a process can do. So that's actually increases the parallel processing as well, to achieve a single result,
But
wherever
this n
multiple
number of
processes work on different also the different cores of also different cores of the processes, wherever one where multiple threads can work on same code, because the process is capturing all those all because the process is capturing that code, and a process can have multiple threads. So
right. So what do you think is the right choice when you're doing an IO operation, let's say? So like you mentioned, multiprocessing is capturing multiple cores, multi-threading is working on a single core.
mhm.
So there must be some time slotting, right? Because a core can do a single task at a time. So
Yeah, so it
probably
actually
some threads are waiting.
So actually, it depends upon the scheduling which you are using. So basically, if you are using the time slice scheduling, so that is a different thing. If you are using if you are using normal I think scheduling, I don't exactly remember the name. So for example, in time scheduling you are saying like keep every thread to like 2 or 3 minutes. You define like that. So once thread goes on, and once set execute for 2 minutes, whatever the execution is there, then it will hold out that particular operation, and once it get another chance, then it will execute it. But with the normal execution, it always depends upon what is the highest priority set, then it will work first, then the next priority set will work. Sorry about it. Yeah. So uh, actually I forgot what is the question exactly.
So for IO operations, is
Uh-huh.
multi-threading suitable or multi-processing?
For IO operations, I think multi-threading works best, because multiple thread can read, because it also uh, yeah, but because by using the best practices, we can also gives out the data consistency as well by using use of, for example, we can use the volatile keyword to to make uh, the value of the particular mm, I think with the use of the multi-threading we can achieve a better input output option.
Yeah, can you try to explain why?
I think, like suppose there's this operation of reading and writing. So suppose if two of the process are doing this, and definitely these are the process, that means they are very high resources utilization. Suppose if you do not have the constant of the utilization part, so you have n numbers of cores, then you can go wide better. But if you have limited resources, so I think in that case, input output operation should be performed on multi-threading, if you do not have the constant of the on the capacities of it.
Let's talk about the memory hierarchy in these two cases then. How do you think the memory um, distribution works in a multi-processing and a multi-threading environment? So when I say memory, I am talking about heap memory, stack memory, all those things.
Okay, so
Does every process have a different heap memory, or how is it shared?
basically, let's talk about the first thing at and in the sense of the thread, let's say. So when we talked about the thread, so every thread have a different call stack for the in the heap memory. And n numbers of thread you are having, so that is going to have a different thread of sorry, have a different call stack in between in the heap memory. But we try to call about the process, so it will take a set of memory space for that particular process. And when you call a different process, so it will take a different set of space for that particular process. So but in the case of threads, so it has a set of memory available already. It is also in less in the less in the quantity as well. Quantity as in means in the bits. But when you talked about the process, so it will take a more space within the within the heap space. And also
So the question is, if you have a process P1, P2, P3,
okay.
will they have their individual heap memory space, or
Yeah.
will they share a heap memory?
No, they will have a different, they will not share.
And what about a thread then? If you have three threads, T1, T2, T3, will they share a heap memory, or will they have their individual heap memory?
They have an individual stack, but there is this particular heap memory which is being which is being there for the heap, for the thread itself. Like suppose if you have two threads or three threads, so that particular heap space is assigned to that particular thread.
So every thread will have its own heap memory, you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Let's come to data structures then.
Okay.
Uh, which is the data structure you're more comfortable in Java, or anything in terms of basic computer science concepts? Can you try to
uh,
describe HashMap maybe?
Sorry.
HashMap, the internal implementation of HashMap, if you're aware of it.
Sure, sure. So actually, when we define a hash map, so it comes under the implementation of the map interface. And map you can include under the collection, but it actually does not come under the collections because it works on the key and value pair. And yeah, so the implementation goes whenever you initialize any heap map, so it initially captures out the space of 16 bucket, ranging from 0 to 15. And when I do the put operation, so actually it goes and calculate the hash code. It's all depend upon you, whether you wanted to implement it from the overriding the method of the object class, or you just wanted to use the by default implementation of the hash code. So if you go with the by default implementation of the hash code function, then it will define when you once you put the met when you once you know put use the put operation, so and provide the key and value. So accordingly, it will provide a hash code. So how it put out the value in the bucket? So it uses the hash code function of the value which you put, like you can put like a and one. So it convert that one into the binary format, and the hash code which is present, it also convert that particular into binary format. Then it will do the end operation of it. Once the end operation has been completed, so you get uh, bucket number. Once the bucket number has been assigned, then that value goes into uh, the particular bucket. So for example, by calculating it, we get the bucket number as 4. So the value goes into the fourth bucket, and it will be there. Now when it comes to the get operation, so you say like get a. So once you go call a, so it will go to that particular bucket, and again it will checks out for the hash code and all those things. It will go to the bucket a, and then it will retrieve out the value of it. Now this value is actually stored in a linked list format. So suppose if there is a collision in between while putting, so it will do internally it will uses the linked list. But after Java 8, actually they use the tree implementation. uh, for, if there's a collision, so they will use a tree internally. And before Java 8, so they are using the linked list, like that. You have the value, so you have the key, you have the value, and then you have the addresses. Or if there's nothing is there, then you have the null pointer pointing to null. So you have a pointer pointing to null.
Okay. Uh, so you mentioned hashed collision, wherein you have a same hash for different keys. In that case, you get a hash collision. And you mentioned that previously you're using linked list to tackle hash collision. Is there any other way of tackling hash collision? If you had to speak in terms of basic computer science concepts,
Okay,
do you think there
basically,
is another way?
uh, instead of that, if you have a 16, if you initially have a 16 array, and you wanted to, put all those, and you also having the 16 values, so you can use the different hash function altogether. So you can say, like, I think different hash function, optimized hash function will help you to avoid the bucket collision. But like, for example, let's say, uh, we can use the, mod by 10, for example. So suppose if the value was coming like, mod of 10 for the 16 will not work. In the basic computer science, actually there are some methods actually for the hashing, which I remember from the college time. Don't exactly recall that those, functions, but there are, 2 to 3 functions are there, that I'm sure of. uh, don't exactly recall those functions.
No problem. What about sets? Can you try to quickly describe how sets are implemented? Again, in terms of computer science, we should not go into Java specifically. As a
uh,
concept, how is a set implemented?
Set implementation, okay, means,
Not implementation. What is conceptually a set data structure?
okay. So, the basic formality of, the set is like, it does not allow the null value, first of all. Sorry, not the null value. It was not about the duplicate value. It's like, and like, for example, if I try to, talks about, set in conjunction with the computer science. So it basically, have the same, it okay, okay. So it is defined by the, it defined by the, by brackets. And it actually, okay, set. Actually, I've tried to figure out, what are those applications of set. Uh, mm,
Yeah, we don't need the applications. I just want to know like what are the benefits of a set. Maybe the retrieval complexity. Let's say
okay.
in case of hash map, retrieval complexity is O1. What is the
Mm,
retrieval complexity of a set? What is the complexity of adding an element to a set? Things like that.
okay. So, okay. So, adding the element, having the complexity of O of one, because, whenever you try to add any element, uh, uh, sorry, O of n, because it actually checks out, whether the value is already present or not. And by that sense, it gives out, true and false. And okay, but for the retrieval, tribal
What are the differences between a set and a list?
set and a list. Okay, so yeah, so list actually stores the element. actually, let's start from the first. So list does allow the duplicate value to be present, and set does not allow. uh, some of the implement Okay, so list also allows the null value to be present, but some of the implementation of the hash interface does not allow the null value to be present, and some allow one only null value. And list actually sort out, gives the element. Um, uh, okay okay and yeah, list can okay, but set can also take. Okay, there are different implementation of list. For example, we have, array list, then we have linked list. The implementation for the set, we have hash set, and mm,
Again, not in terms of Java. Let's not go into Java.
okay, great.
Um,
Yeah.
stick to computer science.
Okay, so like there are different. Okay, not go into the Java. Okay. As far as I recall, like list actually, allocates some memory. No, that is array. Okay.
Apart from the uniqueness, give me one reason why I should use set over list.
Mm, set over list. Okay. So in the terms of the computer science. Okay. Oh, that should have. Okay. Uh, okay. Okay. List and set. Memory wise, they. I think in the list. I think. Okay, but okay. Memory wise, how the implementation uses the continuous one and some are not. For the set, I think in list you do not have the privilege to have the natural sorting order, but in list, no, it is the implementation of the set. I don't recall exactly.
That's fine. We can just move it. Um, Fine. Let's come to problem solving.
Okay,
Have you heard of balancing brackets problem?
balancing bracket problem.
So basically, in any of the ID that you must have used, usually, if you open a curly braces,
Mm-hmm.
the ID will always complain that you have not closed that curly bracket, something like that.
Mm.
And that applies to all, curly brackets, round brackets, or square bracket.
Okay,
Your ID always makes sure that you are closing those brackets correctly
correct.
in the order. It's not like you're opening the bracket first and then closing the bracket. That won't be allowed.
Yeah, lexical
So let's see you're
analysis.
writing a right. It has to be in order, and it has to match the exact occurrence of the bracket. So can you try to write a program which does that for us? So
Okay,
I've in the chat window, I'll just keep adding the test cases. You can give it a thought and maybe share your screen, use whatever ID you are comfortable with, and try to code this.
okay, okay. I'm sharing my screen.
Sure. You got a problem statement, right?
Sorry.
You're clear on the problem statement? Any doubts on that?
No, I think I get it. Maybe able to see, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the problem statement goes like that. Give me a moment. For example, I think you are saying like okay. So I should look out for each and every element of it. Like you have a curly braces, and then you have a bracket, then you have a curve bracket. So basically, you are saying like uh, if if in a data structure which we are going to see, like, so you are saying like if I have that bracket means curly braces, so that the next element should be the curly braces itself, right?
No, not the next element, but in the string,
In
that
the
curly
string.
bracket should be closed.
Okay,
Whatever input I'm giving, let's say I've given you three inputs now in the chat window if you're able to see.
yeah,
So if you're opening a curly bracket, that should be closed,
it's okay. So basically in the
right?
string itself, so if I have one curly braces, if I found only one curly braces, so that basically means that the string is not valid, something like that.
Right. Yeah. Your output should be something like, not balanced or something like that. If the brackets are balanced, you can return true. If it is not balanced, you can return false. So we just need a function that just checks whether the string is balanced or not.
Okay.
And again, the reason you're implementing this is probably for an IDE. So you can imagine that person is writing a code, and that is the code which might come to you as a string.
Okay. Okay. Linked list will not do the same. Maybe because we have the table of it. Okay. But how do we define like which of the? Okay. We check every point. Okay. If it is present, then pop out. I think बट तो पहले चेक करना पड़ेगा। नहीं नहीं, एक साथ नहीं कर सकते क्या, एक साथ नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि सपोज मैंने 0 का रिव एक्सेस हो गया, सो ओके एक आ गया। पिक किया तो एक डाल दिया स्टेप में सफिशिएंट, देन ओके बट मेरे को पता कैसे चलेगा, सो मैं पिक कर लिया, ठीक है, सो पिक कर लिया, सो उसने मेरे को बोला कि मैं रिटर्न चीज फिर यहीं से मेरे को चेक करना पड़ेगा। ओके और चेक चल लेट्स मैंने पिक किया, सो मेरे को मिला वैसे तो बढ़ता है कि नहीं, नहीं ओके it's not the optimal one, but let's see. Oh shit, check the next element, step नहीं है, let me check maybe किया, नेक्स्ट एलिमेंट है, इसको पिक किया, इसको पिक किया, तो मिला क्या मिला, यहाँ पे लिया। सो बिकॉज सी जब इतने क्लास में ही आएगा, क्योंकि मेरे पास यहाँ पे उससे भी रिटर्न होना पड़ेगा, मतलब मैंने अगर यहाँ पे सपोज मेरा जो स्ट्रिंग था वो ऐसा था, ओके। सो मुझे क्या मिल रहा है यहाँ पे, यहाँ पे दिख नहीं रहा है, क्या मतलब नहीं पता कि मैंने पुश कर दिया, पुश किया, क्या क्या जगह दे दिया है, नहीं है, तो नहीं है, तो उसका नहीं है, 40 मैंने दिया ही नहीं है, तो कैसे जाएगा। ओके, यहाँ पे गया, मैंने पिक किया, सभी को ये मिला, उनको ये है कि बड़ी चाहिए नहीं ना, ये चाहिए नहीं मेरे को, फिर मेरे को ये तो नहीं है, तो ठीक है, दैट ना, पिक करना ही नहीं है मेरे को, उसको पिक पिक में लिखी मैंने, मतलब मैंने देख लिया, सपोज ये आया, मैंने देख लिया कि ये पिक हुआ, ठीक है। सो फिर मैं आया यहाँ पे, अभी ये देख लिया मैंने कि ये है, सो आई शुड नॉट राइट दिस, बिकॉज कैसे करोगे, मतलब क्योंकि तुमने देख लिया है ना, कर लिया कि तुम्हारे पास ये था, तो आई थिंक पहले मैं को पुश करना पड़ेगा, और पहले मेरे को सब पुश करना पड़ेगा, बस सब पुश करना पड़ेगा, एक एक करके सब पुश करना पड़ेगा। सो एक बार पुश हो जाएंगे, पुश कर दिए सभी, पुश कर दिया, ठीक है। अब मेरे को, अब मैं ट्रेड करूँगा उसको, ट्रेड किया, अभी ट्रेड किया मैंने, पुश कर दिया, सबसे पुश कर दिया, अब मैं ट्रेड करूँगा, ठीक है, करके। सो जो ये लगेगा ये तो लास्ट वाला लगेगा, फिर ये सेकंड लास्ट। सो मेरे को क्या मिला, सबसे पहले ये आ जाएगा। सो मेरे को ट्रेड किया, मैंने बोला क्लिक करना, मैंने क्लिक किया, मेरे को रिजल्ट आया, मेरे को ये मिला, ठीक है, मेरे को ये मिल गया। सो अब ये मैं फिर क्या करना, फिर वो पिक कर लिया। सो आई नीड टू मेक इट अपार्ट, ठीक है। मैं उसको बाहर भेज दिया। नो, अभी मेरे को ये चेक करना है कि पूरे पूरे उसमें है कि नहीं। इफ इफ अच्छा, मैं इटरेट कर लिया फिर। हाँ ठीक है। ये फिर पूरे में करना पड़ेगा। फिर मैंने ये पिक कर लिया कि सबसे ऊपर ये है। क्या करना है फिर? सो अभी मेरे को ऐसा होना चाहिए। सो अब क्या लोग इसको करना है मेरे को।
So Akash, do you have one more interview lined up now?
या
Okay. No, I mean, is it for your or
सॉरी,
is it for your technologies itself or something else?
नो दिस इज फॉर दैट्स नॉट माइन
Okay.
एक्चुअली। दिस इज फॉर सम
No
आईडी
problem.
एक्चुअली। पिकिंग आउट। अरे चेक कर लिया मेरे को पहला वाला है। देन अभी मेरे को पूरे में चेक करना है कि ठीक है। इसे मेरे को सब में चेक करना पड़ेगा। लाइक मेरे को जो भी पीक आएगा, मेरे को जो भी पीक आएगा, तो सपोज ये कैसे चेक करना है? पहले मेरे को यार आई थिंक शिट, तो ऑलरेडी नीचे आएगा। नेक्स्ट काम में चलेगा। पिक कर पिक के बाद मेरे को हर एक वैल्यू की जगह देखना पड़ेगा। लेट्स से बट सपोज ये आ गया, देन ये आया। उसके बाद तो मैंने नहीं, लेकिन पहला एलिमेंट तो मैंने कर दिया ना। व्हाई शुड आई? तो वन कि मेरे को दो बार लगाना पड़ेगा। एक बार तो मैं देख ही रहा हूँ, फिर एक एलिमेंट लेके सब में देखना है। एक एलिमेंट लेके सब में देखना है क्या? एक एलिमेंट लेके बस if I try to solve this, so अगर मैं suppose ये एलिमेंट लिया and then I have this one, so I will check again and again for keeping in this mind this one। ये मैं दूसरे वाले भी चेक करता हूँ। मेरे को उल्टा चाहिए ना, उल्टा चाहिए तो मतलब अगर मैं
Akash, can you just try to run me through what your logic is so far?
Yeah, sure. So actually, actually initially I was trying to get the sense, like, if I put this element in the stack. So initial thought was like, and once I move it forward, so like going through that. So if this where, if we already push that variable, and we are checking, like, if the next variable is, if it is, the opposite of it, then we say, like, we can, pop those element out and move it forward. But if suppose the next element is not like that, so it's not the opposite of it, then we again, push out and see and capture the peak of it, so the, the top of it. So we have this top right now, and then I look out for, this value. So if it is false, if it is, is the opposite of it, if we found out like that, so we will, pop out those values, and then we move it next, we will move it to the next. But what I am sensing is, like, I actually go down and down and down. So this is actually not going to work, because what happens is, like, if I'm not going to put it out, I'm not checking into the next value also. So by that I thought, like, first saving, first, pushing all those value in the stack. Then for each step we will check, like, if I'm, if I'm putting the value from here. So I think this will be the last, the last element which will be present in this stack. So we will, peek out that particular value, and in the subsequent step we will look out, we will go further and, looks out for that, like, whether in all those particular elements, if uh, if the opposite curly braces is present or not. Then
Okay.
if it is not present, then we will move to the next element. So something like that I was thought of. But actually the problem is, like, should we go ahead and, something do like something like that, because we already posted out, push in the stack. So we should be looking out, like, suppose we should be use like two loops with, two loops in conjunction with it. So for example, if I'm looking out that, so all the, in the inner loop will looks out for all those values which accept this. So if I found, the curly braces, then the opposite of it, then I will pop that out. So that's what I was actually trying. But I think the
But then,
step.
you're essentially not making use of stack, then you're basically using stack as a list in your second approach. I think the first approach that you described was on the right track, wherein
Okay.
you're pushing the elements and you keep checking if you're getting a closed bracket or not. Even if it goes to the depth, at the end, I think it will start solving the puzzle for you. If
Okay.
that makes sense. Because if you will start pushing the curly in the test case one, then you will start pushing uh, curly bracket, then square bracket, then you push the round bracket, and
Mm-hmm.
then you will keep checking if there is a closing round bracket or not. Once you get that, you can pop the opening round bracket, then you pop the opening square bracket, and then pop the opening curly bracket, something like that.
Okay.
Anyways, fine, Akka, I think we are done on top of the. Any questions for me?
Uh, I wanted to just wanted to know about one map you are working. So it's actually as a product, or how is it means? I actually googled out for that. It's like you are working on the maps, so geographical maps. You are using the GIS and all those things.
Right. So yeah, I mean, one map you can consider as a vertical inside here, wherein we are making sure that all the data is aligned, and we have some smaller products which are then getting published as kind of a software as a service, you can say.
Okay,
And for that, then we are making sure that everything is aligned. So one map is a very broader umbrella under which all the teams fall into.
okay. So okay, great, great. So actually, I just wanted to
It's
understand
it's an idea.
sorry.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's not a product. It's just a team hierarchy, you can say.
Okay, great, great. Yeah, I think I'm
That's it.
uh, okay with the questions.
Great. Nice talking to you, Akash.
Nice talking to you, Shah. Thanks.